Let's talk about The Boys season 4. I have seen it. I really enjoyed The Boys season 1. Season 2 went a little bit off the rails. Season 3 not my favorite for sure. And this season goes way off the rails. I love the story of Butcher, Huey, and the crew trying to take out and expose the hypocritical Soups, which I do think is more of a comment on Hollywood and politics. People are not who they appear to be. The Soups appear to be good. We do good for the world. Behind the scenes, they are deviants. They're horrible people. And it's really a comment on entertainment and politics. People that put a forward-facing view of themselves when, to get to know them, they are the most horrible people you would ever meet. And The Boys, this crew led by Butcher with Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Huey, and now joined by Starlight, helping them now behind the scenes. That continuing adventure to expose them is happening. This season was a mixed bag. Great moments in there with a new character named Firecracker and Sister Sage, who is the smartest person, who's also joined the Seven along with Firecracker. There's a revolving group of the Seven. You have the Deep in a relationship with an octopus, which goes awry. So lots of but the thing is that what's kept me watching, I want to tell you, in spite of, and I'll tell you why this season goes off the rails, is I love these characters. I love the characters. Although I don't know what happened to Starlight's face. The actress Erin Moriarty, who plays Starlight, had surgery and was criticized over it. It's dramatic. She looks very different. And I don't know what led her. She was a beautiful woman before. I don't know what led her to want to have work done. She did not need it, but it is noticeable. And the actor who plays Mother's Milk, he just lost way too much weight. Laz Alonso, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I love these characters. I really do. Carl Urban as Butcher, the sort of he always creatively swearing. Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, evil Superman, uber patriotic, basically a serial killer. It's fantastic. The woman, Kimiko, played by Karen Fukuhara, is fantastic. Trace Crawford as the Deep, fantastic. I love Jack Quaid as Huey. You know, there's this season they deal with his father, played by Simon Pegg. That was a shocking episode. But I feel like this season, more than any other, like it was shocking before with sex and violence. This season just ups the ante, even with Simon Pegg, the that conflict playing out with Huey's dad. That was a horrible ending to that. But it was political before, and I felt in the other seasons, you know, this show headed by Eric Kripke, who actually directed the final episode. I'll get to that in a moment. It's always sort of hit the left, you know, with some criticism about 20-30% of the time, and then the right gets really hit. It's not a balance. And this season it goes even worse. They even had to put for the final episode a warning that this episode of the finale was shot before the events of last Saturday with the, you know, attempted assassination of Trump at a rally. Which, I mean, how could they have known? but they do lean into January 6th. I'd rather just have it veiled comment on politics in general, but they talk about January 6th. You know, they mention certain real life political figures, and it doesn't help its case. It goes hard on the right, not nearly as hard on the left. When Homelander's son is doing this like sort of children's show that basically says to rat out your family, he has a moment where he doesn't agree with the message. That's in this episode. It was just, I feel it goes too hard on the right, which dilutes its message when they could just go as hard on the left as they do on the right. So while I love these characters and love Homelander. He's a great character. He's a great villain. Great villain. In the end, I just was like annoyed that like, God, especially the final episode, where it goes and what it sets up. It basically sets up a coup. It sets up a coup that will play out next season. So I only have to watch one season. I will watch it. I'm invested in these characters. I will say Aaron Moriarty in the final episode, she's got some great sex scenes. I don't want to say how, but there's a reason for it, and I like that part. So it's like this when you love a characters and then you see like I can't tell you how many times I read comic books. I love Batman. I love the Fantastic Four. I love Superman. And you're reading it like, well, I love this character. This is a terrible comic, a terrible storyline. This was stupid. That's what this is. Characters I love in a really terrible story. And that last episode was really rough. So I can't recommend it unless you are invested in these characters like I am. I'm really invested in the characters. So I'll be there for season 5, but it's like a comic book that I love. The characters and the story is awful. So it gets a barely a recommend, like a between a 5 and a 6. But if you've fallen off, don't bother. But I
fell off. I fell off last season. I mean, it was last season. It was season 3. It was clear Homelander is Trump, and they made no bones about it. And it was like, that's just, it becomes too on the nose. I appreciate films that make fun of the right. That's pretty much all of Hollywood, all of TV and film from my childhood. It always made fun of the right, but when it's that on the nose, and when you just see the hatred of the creators toward a certain party,
there is definitely a disdain for the right. I mean, Eric Kripke, if you read his public comments, he makes no bones about, I hate people on the right. There's an episode where Huey is sexually tortured by Tech Knight in his dungeon / bat cave. He's basically Batman.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron Sorkin is like that, and I like Aaron Sorkin stuff. At least he makes an attempt to find an ounce of empathy for his political opponents.
There is no empathy. And there are some pot shots at the left, but not nearly as hard. And that's where it loses credibility.
Yeah.
It loses cred with that.
Yeah. And then a few weeks ago, you said that, it was all basically PPs in the show. Has it gotten any better? Or
yes, we finally get some Aaron Moriarty. She has maybe got back. Let's just say. I don't know about the new, her new look of her face, but I don't need to look at her face to appreciate
Okay.
the backside.
So they only got to her face. That's what you're saying.
That's right. They didn't ruin the rest.
Uh,
But it's so I'm just stuck. I'm stuck. It's like I said, it's characters I love in a story I hate. I'm still gonna watch it. Or like with the Fantastic Four or Batman or a characters I love in a bad storyline, I'll still read it and go, all right, next issue. But and I'll be in for the end. But ultimately, if you're out, I don't blame you. If you are out, I don't blame you. But I really love these characters. Butcher, his storyline, he's got superpowers, but he's got a terminal brain cancer. He's gonna die. He has that plays out in a weird way. I'm being very vague on things. But they really like the gore is there, the sex is there, the deviant sex is there, the lack of morals is there, which really bugs me because by this point, Huey has killed people. Like he has killed people. He is compromised. And there's a weird storyline with Frenchie where he's now like bisexual, you know, which is like completely unnecessary. And you know, Kimiko is like, no, go ahead, have your relationship with your find your love, and it's stupid. It's just utterly dumb. Just it's almost like the DEI people are saying, well, you got to have one of the characters gay, so Frenchie is now gay.
Yeah, because if you lose one, then you got to make a current one.
I do like A Train has some. He gets connected to his values and his family. Like I have empathy for him. So, like I said, there's so many well-rounded, good characters that I love. That I don't know. That's what keeps me watching. So I'll be there for episode 5 for season 5, and the story arc here played out, but they've set up the last season. Last season is for next season is the last season. I'll be there for it, but barely.
Yeah. I mean, my thing for dropping out is I think after the 3rd season and watching the first episode of the 4th, it's like you kind of in your mind, you have an idea of where this is all heading. And it's like, I just don't want to go there. And that's the definite feeling I feel at The Boys at the moment. I'm not looking forward to the direction this show is taking.
Well, I'll just say I'm sucked in, and I want to see what happens to these characters I fell in love with in season 1. From that first episode of season 1, sold. You know, a Marvel universe that makes fun of Marvel. I mean, they make fun of Marvel movies and TV shows in The Boys, and they do it this season. Make fun of entertainment, the business. And I like those comments. But the politics it's unwise to go so hard on only one side of the political aisle. It loses cred. So there you go.